It is the 26th of March 2019. We are live from Kampala Serena Conference Center. This is NTV Tonight, but first let's dive into the headlines. What really transpired? ICT State Minister Ida Nantaba describes the incident in which a man suspected of trailing her was shot dead in Mukono district. Nantaba fears this is part of a bigger ploy against her. The case of Ronald SSEBULIME, who is said to have been handcuffed when he was shot and killed by police on suspicion of harboring ill intentions against the State Minister Ida Nantaba, raises concerns about how unprofessional handling of suspects and their rights. Also on NTV Tonight, we need answers. MPs demand to know how contaminated cereal distributed by World Food Programme was imported into the country. 4 people died and several others were hospitalized after they suffered food poisoning. And the cabinet has approved the Ministry of Works takeover of East African Civil Aviation Academy in Soroti district ahead of the planned revival of Uganda Airlines. The decision is also meant to increase the number of trained technical engineers for the armed forces. This is NTV Tonight. I'm Andrew Kyamagero and Susan Mujao on the sign language, and it begins now. Hello again, this is NTV Tonight. Starting off, the State Minister for Information and Communication Technology, Ida Nantaba, has given a version of events that transpired in Mukono district on Sunday before police shot dead the man who is said to have been trailing her. The man was suspected of having intentions to harm Nantaba. However, she heaps blame on the police officer who shot dead the suspect. We have a report to this story.
The State Minister for ICT, Ida Nantaba, has said a number of questions concerning the incident on Sunday in which she was trailed by a man from Kabimbiri to Nagalama must be answered, as they could be key in the investigations by police.
But even when I'm lucky to tell the story, the suspect is murdered immediately, even after being arrested by police. The narration is the police officer comes and says the order has changed. So who is giving this order? Because the changing of the order meant to remove the man from the patrol vehicle, put him down, shoot him. Why do this? Who had sent this order? Because they had started driving to Nagalama, bringing a suspect who is alive. But then they stop, remove the suspect from the patrol vehicle, and shoot him. As alleged and said and narrated by the eyewitnesses that it was an order. So whose order? On whose order?
Nantaba says the killing of Ronald SSEBULIME could be a ploy to fail the investigation.
The group or the mastermind of these assassinations that have been happening in this country, and according to what we see, will still continue, because he is the one who was supposed to be a witness, but he has been the primary witness, is killed.
SSEBULIME is alleged to have been trailing Nantaba's car for several kilometers from Kayunga, prompting her to instruct her bodyguard, only identified as Tugume, to find a solution.
Tugume tries to stop this man. He refuses to stop, but instead pretends as though he is going to park on the side of the road. And as he's pretending to be parking, I'm also following suit. This time takes off at a very high speed, and at this time we are approaching Kabimbiri town. Then I asked Tugume, why don't you shoot? At least shoot in the air or shoot the tires for this man at least to stop his car, to stop his bike.
The minister and the commander of the operation from Nagalama station have recorded statements with the police.
Well, there you have now the body of Ronald SSEBULIME, who was killed on suspicion that he intended to cause harm to the ICT State Minister Ida Nantaba on Sunday, has been handed over to the relatives. According to the relatives, the officials at Mulago City Mortuary did not give them a post-mortem report. They also say that police had asked them to record before they could receive the body. Our reporter with more.
Ronald SSEBULIME from Nakabugo village in Wakiso district was shot dead after being chased by police in Mukono district after he was suspected of trailing ICT Minister Ida Nantaba. His body was taken to Mulago City Mortuary in Kampala for a post-mortem and was today handed over to his relatives. His sister Sylvia Nakaita, who received his body, said the matter of his death will be pursued further, while the family is demanding an apology from the police.
Two of my sisters went out to meet a lawyer, to talk to a lawyer. So I'm yet to find out what they got from there.
Police declined to comment. However, on Monday, police spokesperson Fred Enanga said investigations into what led to SSEBULIME's death are underway.
We have carried out DNA profiling, or we have fingerprinted all our guns within Kampala Metropolitan. Okay, so it is going to be easy for us to find out the bullets, if there are bullet heads in the body, who shot, it is from which gun.
The relatives said SSEBULIME's children learnt about his death today. He leaves behind 4 children, with the eldest in senior 3.
Tuba tutuuka ekalere ku roundabout mu jam. Bano abamawulire abatambuza amawulire bandabye mu mawulire nga bankubye nga nkaaba.
Police said a mobile phone, a motorcycle and SSEBULIME's identification documents will help in the investigations. Clinton Tumanye, NTV.
Well, thank you, Clinton. Now, as the family of the late Ronald SSEBULIME prepares for his funeral tomorrow, security analysts are questioning the manner in which he met his death. SSEBULIME was shot and killed on Sunday under suspicion that he was one of the 2 men trailing the ICT minister. Ali Mivule reports.
Since Sunday's shooting, there have been mixed reactions from the public. Many are unsure of what to make of the manner in which Ronald SSEBULIME met his death. The most contentious issue, though, has been whether or not SSEBULIME was shot dead after he had already been handcuffed by the police. Security analysts say if it is true, it is reproachable.
So if he's handcuffed, it means that the security forces had succeeded in subduing him. Now, since they killed him, after handcuffing him, after him surrendering to the authorities, then that is an extrajudicial execution. He was executed.
I believe that the command of the 99 and the crew, the team that was on all of they are suspected murderers. In fact, they should be arrested if they have not been arrested. All of them. Others for conspiracy, others for betting.
Last evening, police spokesperson Fred Enanga said even while handcuffed, someone can still be dangerous. The analysts, however, are calling for reasonable force.
Now, is there evidence that this guy was posing a threat even when he was on handcuffs? Is there evidence? By the way, the fundamental question is, how many put him on handcuffs? Romoshana believes SSEBULIME's killing cost government vital information in its investigations on what really happened to Minister Nantaba. The first layer of investigation is whether there was an attempted assassination on the minister, on Nantaba. That's an investigation in itself. Fortunately, or unfortunately, the one who is supposed to investigate it believed her and acted. That means that police is satisfied there was an attempted assassination. The rest now is politics.
Where a suspect may resist arrest and try to flee, police should be trained to stop the threat without taking a life.
You try to go for the legs.
On Sunday, 24th March, Ronald SSEBULIME, one of the 2 men who are said to have been trailing ICT Minister Ida Nantaba, was gunned down at Nagoje in Mukono district. His family say he will be buried tomorrow. Ali Mivule, NTV.
Thank you, Ali. The Inspector General of Police, Okoth Chola, has told the mourners who convened for memorial service for Commissioner of Police Christina Laro, who served with the African Union Mission in Somalia, that it will take 6 months for the medical team testing DNA samples to release the findings. Laro was among the 157 people who perished when the plane in which they were traveling crashed in Ethiopia. The story will come in a little later. Moving on, Cabinet has approved the Minister of Works takeover of Soroti Aviation Training School to facilitate training of commercial pilots ahead of the planned revival of Uganda Airlines. Government spokesperson Ofono Pondo said the move is also meant to increase the number of trained technical engineers for the forces. This, he says, will only strengthen the Civil Aviation Authority, but will also save the country a reasonable amount of foreign exchange. He spoke at the media center in Kampala earlier today.
Cabinet approved the proposal by the Ministry of Works and Transport for the government of Uganda to take over the ownership and management of the East African Civil Aviation Academy in Soroti. And the objectives are about 3. 1, to train commercial pilots and aircraft maintenance engineers for the Uganda People's Defense Force, Uganda Police Air Wing, the executive, that is the presidential jet, commercial and general aviation, as well as feeding into the newly revived Uganda Airlines.
Right there, that's where we find a poll question tonight. Comment on Cabinet's approval on government's proposal to take over ownership of the East African Civil Aviation Academy in Soroti. Give us your feedback on NTV Uganda, Twitter and Facebook as well. Moving on, members of parliament want a deeper inquiry into how food suspected to be contaminated and supplied by the World Food Programme supplied in Karamoja region found its way into the country. Several people in the Park district who consumed the cereal suffered food poisoning. The legislators also ask why government continues to depend on food handouts, yet Uganda has a food surplus. State Minister for Health Joyce Moriku briefed parliament on the investigations into the incident.
4 people have so far died, while many in Napaka and Amdad districts continue to suffer effects of food poisoning after they ate food supplied by the World Food Programme 2 weeks ago. Parliament has asked for an update from the Health Ministry on the samples that were tested. State Minister for Health Dr. Joyce Moriku said they are waiting for results from the laboratories in Uganda, Mombasa, Kenya and South Africa.
The government of Uganda, Right Honorable Speaker, and the United Nations World Food Programme are investigating whether there is a connection between the recent illness reported in Amdad and Napak district and super cereal.
Well, that will take us for break. We'll be back shortly with more stories. Still to come, a hidden gem, the Bigodi Wetlands Sanctuary in Chibali district that is home to over 200 bird species and several primates.